Climbers. Today we're breaking down this week's top 5 country singles and revealing what you need to know if you want to write your own top 5 hit. All right, Johnny, do your thing.
Welcome to the Climb! This is a show dedicated to helping singers, songwriters, and indie artists like you create leverage in the new music business. Okay, that's what you're going to need. A track record. You're going to have to prove that not only are you talented and not only do you have potential, but in fact there is a track record. You have songs that have been written that have had cuts. You're an artist and you've created cash flow. You've created traffic. That's what you're going to need to get those golden rings that you're searching for, the publishing deal, the record deal, the booking agency deal, the management deal, all that stuff. You've got to put it together first. That's why we called it the C.L.I.M.B, C.L.I.M.B, creating leverage in the music business. Brilliant. Okay, that's a backstory created by my good friend and co-host, Mr. Brent Baxter, who's an award-winning hit songwriter with cuts by Alan Jackson, Randy Travis, Lady A, Joe Nichols, and more. Got a couple number ones last year in Southern Gospel. Got a charting single right now on Texas on the Texas charts, right?
Yeah, just
congratulations
back in the
on that.
top 30 on the Texas chart with a song we have out. So going to be fun to watch that one climb. Hopefully,
what's not to love? And here's something else to love is that Brent helps songwriters like you turn pro by revealing how you write like a pro, do business like a pro, and then on the regular, he is going to connect you with the pros to give you the opportunity to flex that muscle and create a relationship. And that's how you're going to move forward. You can find Brent very easily at songwritingpro.com. Once again, that's songwritingpro.com.
And I would like to introduce you to my co-host, Johnny Dwinell. Johnny owns Daredevil Production. They're breaking artists digitally by identifying new fans through data. Look, if you're an artist looking to increase your streams, blow up your video views, sell more live show tickets, and get discovered by new fans, TV, and music industry pros, then Daredevil Production can help. Daredevil has worked with multi-platinum artists like Colin Ray, Tracy Lawrence, Ty Herndon, and Andy Griggs, just to name a few. You can find Johnny at daredevilproduction.com. That is production singular, no S, and there is no S because there is no other Johnny D.
Hey, what's happening, my man?
Man, I'm just, we were talking on before we hit record about I'm fighting with DMV stuff, but God bless them. They just got to have those little pieces of paper that you feel are not relevant at all, but they just have to have them. So,
so you're telling me that in order to get your new tag on your car, you have to prove you paid your property taxes
for the past 2 years. I'm like, oh, great. Let me just look that up because I don't have anything else going on.
Yeah, because I got time to go look for that freaking receipt.
Sure. Let me go find that receipt from, definitely 2 years ago or more now.
It would be nice if the DMV could connect with the government and just know, like, okay.
It's like, we found it for you.
That's
the difference between people that go, oh, we work for you, and people that go, we don't work for you, you work for us. So
that's right. So what are we going to learn today?
All right, not about the DMV. Okay, what we're going to do today is I pulled up, at this point, by the time it comes out, it'll be like a week or two old, but recent top 5 country singles chart from the American Country Countdown, and just looked at the chart and said, let's dive into these top 5 because this is where we want to be. And of course, it's a moment in time, and it's not going to speak to every top 5 ever, but it's a moment in time. It's where I want to be. It's where most of the climbers here probably want to be. Let's take a look at it, see what we can kind of break down from this and learn from, so we can get our own. So that's what we're going to do.
I love it. All right. Before we do that, let's take care of a little business. We're always proud to be a part of American Songwriter Magazine's podcast platform. If you're a longtime climber, go check out the new shows at americansongwriter.com/podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And if you found us through that, then by all means, welcome to the climb.
Welcome to the climb. That's right.
So make sure you join the Climb community. That's the facebook.com/the Climb community. This is a great community. It's growing every single day. We have singers, songwriters, indie artists, and indie musicians like you. We've got places for you to, special places for you to put your gig information, to put your wins, if you've gotten cuts, if you've got, amazing things that have happened with you as an indie artist kind of stuff. Ask for information. Co-writes are being created like from different countries, which is that's crazy.
Yeah.
And great information on promotion and, people sharing. It's just a great community and it's active, right? So this This is not the kind of community where people are, 400,000 members and nobody posts anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's definitely going on, and we want to invite you to that. Right? We got any new wins?
We do. So each Wednesday we post the New Heights post, and we encourage you to share your wins as a comment under that post, so everybody knows where the party is and where the celebration station is. And so we're tuning into the celebration station here at
Nice.
W Climb or whatever. So, yeah, let's
W
share a couple of
class.
these. That's right. So, Carrie Cunningham, hey climber, said today I released single number 8 off my Showgirls series. It's a sultry pop tune I wrote at a GSC retreat, and GSC is Global Songwriters Connection with my buddy Sharice Voltore. But she shared that single on there, and people like chiming in like, right on, way to go, celebrating with her. So, congrats, Carrie, on the latest release here. Very cool. Climber Pat Kelly said, I recently got 8 songs placed on a new male country artist first album recorded in Nashville. So, Pat, keep us in the loop on that.
Congrats.
I'm curious to know who that
Yeah.
is and what's going on. So, let's see. Let's find one more. There are a bunch on this one. This is fun. Let's see. I'll scroll down a little bit here. Climber Kevin James Lynch wrote, I'm writing with a big country artist. Operative word, big. Ooh, you have my attention, Kevin. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. So you have my curiosity. So I want
Need a
follow-ups,
lyricist?
people.
Do you need a lyricist?
Exactly. Yeah. You need a lyricist. So anyway, congrats on the wins, the new heights, and come on in, join the party, and we want to hear about your wins too, so we can celebrate with you. And that's one thing I love is like people like Paul DeMarco and Patrick Adams and several other people just chiming in and just congratulating people and giving them attaboys and attagirls. And
Mhm.
that's awesome. That's what we want to see.
Yeah. Heck yeah, it
Team
is.
sport,
So,
baby.
we got plenty of room for that, so come on in, the water's warm, come on into our nightmare. The water
Yes.
is warm,
It might be
and,
because we peed in it, but whatever.
make sure you leave a rating and review and, listen, share it, tell a friend about it. Like, I if you're spending all this time with us, we're very grateful for the time that you spend with us, but we don't take it lightly. We know that you're here for a reason. This is just the way the real world works. And if you're getting something out of it, then somebody else can too. So turn them on to it. Oh, and lastly, we need to be mentioning this. Like, if you're digging the video content challenge mini-sodes that happen every other Friday,
Mhm.
then if you've got a song that's been completed and you're about ready to begin promoting that song, if even if you have a music video already done, or if you don't have a music video done yet, submit that to the video content challenge. And then Brent and I are going to get on with you. We'll invite you onto the show. We'll listen to the song and we'll just cook up a bunch of different promotional ideas that will um, give you and just break you. I think a lot of artists just get in a rut of
Mhm.
thinking about one sort of thing,
Yeah.
a very linear thinking in terms of promotion. And so all of a sudden, in the last we've had 3 of these episodes now, and we've just had a wealth of different ideas to make little 30-second videos or something that'll help get that hook, get you to 7,
Mhm.
and get that hook into more brains and get that chorus into more people's heads. That's what it's about. So send it to info@daredevilproduction.com and put VCC or video content challenge into the subject line.
That's right.
There you go. So what are we gonna learn?
All
Let's
right.
get to
So
it.
let's just
Top
take
5 country songs.
Yeah, so I just went to the chart because Billboard makes you pay to even look at their chart these days. So I haven't looked at the Billboard chart. But American Country Countdown, God bless y'all. I can still access that without having to buy the whole magazine or something. So I looked at the top 40s for the weekend of August 7th and 8th, 2021. So you're going to be listening to this in the future because that's where everything else is. And so let's just take a look at these top 5 country singles, and then we're just going to dive into them a little bit. So at number 1, we have Cole Swindell with Single Saturday Night. Number 2 is Chase Rice featuring Florida Georgia Line with Drinking Beer, Talking God, Amen. Number 3, Chris Young and Kane Brown with Famous Friends. Number 4, Dan and Shay, Glad You Exist. And number 5, Luke Combs with Forever After All. So those are the top 5 for that particular week. And let's just kind of dig in a little bit. Some things I've noticed, just try to pull out some themes, some stuff that we can hopefully, go into our next co-write with. Go, okay, if I want to write a top 5, maybe here's some things that seem to be working. All right. All right. So, first of all, I was looking at the times on all these songs, and I'll just read them off to you. I think this is in order, the top 5, but you have 307, 240, 245, 224, and
Oh,
352. Okay, so let's look at.
224 right there. That's a CCR song.
I mean, that is a Beatles song, man, right?
Yeah.
So 224, that was like, what is that? Glad You Exist, maybe? Let's see, I don't have it broken out by which song is which, but I know that 352 is the Luke Combs thing, Forever After All. So that was the closest song that lasted for closest song that came to lasting for forever was Luke Combs Forever After All. That's my pun.
Forever After All, and you think he's talking about the lyric,
I
but he's
think he's
just
talking
talking about
about,
how
yeah,
long
the
it
song.
takes to
No,
get to the end of the song.
it felt like forever. But here's the thing on that. Luke is really the biggest star out of the top 5. I mean, Florida Georgia Line is huge, but they're featuring with so you got Cole, you got Chase, you got Chris Young, Kane Brown, but it's mainly a Chris Young, I think, single. You got Dan and Shay. So all these cats are doing great. They're in the top 5. They're all doing great. But really, out of those, Luke Combs
Luke Combs is the big
is
daddy.
the guy that is swinging the big lumber at the moment.
Yeah.
So he can get away with that a little bit more than, say, like a new artist. So I'm just like, and he wrote it himself. So I'm like, yeah, you can release a 352 if you're Luke Combs, if you're Chesney, if you're Luke Bryan, if you're, if you're one of these huge stars. But if you're not one of those huge stars, I don't know about that. So
Yeah, don't test him.
exactly. So what but you take out that outlier, 307, and then the rest are under 3, 240, 245, and 224. I mean, getting with it and getting gone. And now why is that? Because songs are definitely trending shorter. Is we're not doing 2 verses before the chorus anymore. Like, that is gone. It may come back eventually, but I just, at the moment, it's getting in, getting out. Again, it's like trying to write Beatles records, get to the chorus and hopefully get to the chorus with a really hooky verse. And
Don't bore us, get to the chorus.
man,
Yeah.
for sure. And so there's, yeah, man, just getting into it. And so, I mean, I noticed that with my own songs. Like, I've been pushing, like, let's, they say brevity is a soul of wit. It also seems to be some of the soul of hit songwriting right now is being brief and getting to it and not overstaying your welcome. And, short attention span theater. Okay, let's get in, get out. Don't overstay my welcome. Come on. So that's one thing to notice that you may not have been noticing just listening to the radio. You're not sitting there with a stopwatch listening to the radio as you're driving down the road, and you may not realize because they feel right. Those songs don't feel short. They don't feel like
Right.
they cut out big things you needed just for time. It's like they feel complete. They feel good, but they just don't overstay their welcome. And so you may not have even noticed that going, dang, 224, 240, 240. None of my songs ever used to be that short. Now I'm kind of whittling them down. Just like, okay, we got to execute really efficiently. It's like we can't cut corners. Like, we just got to cut time, but we can't cut corners. You just got to get what you want done very efficiently, which takes a lot of craft.
It takes a lot of crap. You know what? I think what pops into my head is it's a song that Hole did, right? Which is Kurt Cobain's wife. What's her name?
Courtney Love.
Courtney Love did, yeah.
Yeah.
But she didn't write it. I think Billy, what's his face from the Smashing Pumpkins wrote it.
Corgan.
Billy Corgan wrote it. It's called Celebrity Skin, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like da 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 da. Just look me over.
Oh, yeah.
I'm who I wanna be. Da 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 da. Got you. Hey, and then they're in the chorus right there. Like, there's no 4-bar intro. There's 3 chords. Ba-da, ba-da, ba-da. First verse.
Oh, make me
4 lines, and they're into the chorus, and it's like, no, it's like, just hit me with it, man. And that's a great song, and it was a huge hit. And what a craft! Like, that fast, they got right to it. So cool.
And that's the thing about your song walking in the room like it's somebody. Not sneaking in. I'm gonna kind of make my way over by the punch bowl and eventually meet some people. And pretty
Announcing your
soon,
presence with authority.
yeah, that is announcing your presence with authority. And
Or
so,
John Fogerty has a bunch of those, like from Creedence Clearwater Revival. Like they're
mhm.
2 minutes and 15 frickin' seconds.
Yeah,
You're
and that's
like,
all you need
and
if
it's
you do it right.
perfect. It's
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's time. So be watching your clock, y'all. The other thing I just went down and took a look at was the first lines of these songs. Like, how are these folks getting us in there? Let's see. And kind of in order, the top five. So Cole, I was out taking shots, throwing down at the spot. Okay, so we already know what's going. We already know what's going on, right? He's taking shots of whiskey or whatever, and he's partying down at the spot, wherever that is. He's at a bar somewhere. The second one, talking God, drinking beer, all that. It said firewood crackle in the fall air, red dirt playing on the radio. Boom! I get a sense of place, right? I'm seeing this. The
Mhm.
firewood crackle, you hear it, the fall air. I get a little chill. I feel that crispness in the air. Red dirt playing on the radio, so meaning red dirt country. So you got
Mhm.
the sound, you got the feel. Just man, it's setting that scene immediately.
Yeah, even the smell, right, from the
From
fire,
the
like
fire. Let's see, from famous friends. My buddy Brandon holds the record for single season touchdown throws. And I'm seeing a high school football game.
yeah.
My buddy Brandon holds the record for single season touchdown throws. And not only is that intriguing, like, okay, where are you going with this? Like, automatically you're telling me about somebody interesting. And I want to know what's going on here. Let's see, number 4 here. Dan and Shay, glad you exist. Here's to all the late night drunk phone calls that you picked up. you know and
Mhm.
so again, you start getting a picture. You get the phone, you get you just get that. Here's to all the late night drunk phone calls that you picked up. And so getting right into it, seeing this thing. Luke Combs, a cold beer's got 12 ounces, a good truck's got maybe 300,000. And
Mhm.
so you're automatically seeing the cold beer, you're seeing this truck, you're seeing the odometer, that sort of thing. So all those first lines have in common, you you start seeing this stuff. Some have more detail than
Mhm.
others, but you're seeing something. It's not emotional. It's setting the story. It's hopefully intriguing us. Going, okay, a cold beer's got 12 ounces. A good truck's got maybe 300,000. Like, well, okay, where are you going with this? My buddy Brandon, who owns single season touchdown throws. Yeah, okay. You have my attention. You're talking football. You have my attention. But you're going to tell me a story, or the firewood crackle. Like, it's just opening the scene of this movie, and it's getting me in there. And so they don't waste any time. They're like, boom, here's a scene. We're right in. We're right into the meat of it. Like, feels like already. So
Mhm.
imagery, get some imagery in your first line. That's what I learned from this. Get some imagery in my first line, make it interesting, and get us going there. I think also one thing I learned from each song is that each song is brand appropriate for that particular artist. So like Cole Swindell, he's out taking shots, throwing down at the spot, whatever. That's brand appropriate for Cole because he has no problem singing about partying at the bar. It's in several
Mhm.
of his things, being out, going out, hanging out, all that stuff. So that's totally brand appropriate for him. And the song "Single Saturday Nights" is about, he was going out on a single Saturday nights and partying, have a good time. Now he met this girl, and that was his last single Saturday night. Whereas he used to go out every
Ah.
single Saturday night. Now that was his last Saturday night where he was single. See what they did
Yeah,
there?
that's a clever, very
Clever.
clever.
Right. So, and which also, that first line is right on target with what you're talking about. Like, how was he spending his Saturday nights when he was single? I was out taking shots, throwing down at the spot, right? That you already getting that
Mhm.
Saturday night vibe that, like he's young, he's single, he's out, he's just partying. And then, so that's already on point, not just for him as an artist, but it's on theme for the song. Second one, campfires and beer for Chase Rice and Florida Georgia Line. Yeah, that's on brand for them. I mean, these are not super specific niche things, right? It works for a lot of country artists, but still, it's appropriate for who they are. You can totally see
Mhm.
them. Yeah, campfires and beer, and this, of course, the song is called "Drinking Beer, Talking God, Amen." So that first line, "Firewood crackling in the fall air, red dirt playing on the radio," is setting that scene of, with your buddies, you're on the campfire, and if you're drinking or whatever, but like campfire conversations, cut a wide swath from the
Mm-hmm.
completely stupid to talking about God and aliens and stuff, right? Like, just those campfire conversations. And like, do you think there are, all that stuff, as a kid, I
God and
remember,
aliens.
God and aliens. Um, and so it's setting that scene of like, yeah, we'd be sitting around a campfire, and talking God and drinking beer,
Oh
so
yeah.
it's banned. It's right in there. Let's see. The famous friends. You're talking about football. You're talking about sheriffs like Kane Brown and school teachers and that kind of stuff, which is on brand for them because it's that small town stuff. It's football players and high school teachers, and it's also on theme for the song. It's like it's about famous friends. So boom, they drop you on that first line telling you about some kid that's hometown famous because he holds a record
Mm-hmm.
for single season touchdown throws. But it also makes sense those kind of topics for two country artists to sing about, for being from
Mm-hmm.
a small town. So it's on theme and it works for the artist. Let's see, Dan and Shay. Now this is a little more outlier on this group, because like their songs, the Glad You Exist, and most of their songs just in general don't talk about trucks. They aren't the back road people. They aren't, they
No, but
don't.
aren't they? I got a question though.
Mhm.
Let me interrupt you.
Yeah.
Don't they? Like, I feel like they've had other songs where it's about like drunk dialing or drunk phone calls.
Uh,
What was the last single they had?
they had like
Wasn't that I gotta go to? I should go to probably go to
yeah, I
bed.
should probably go to bed. Which talked about like if I don't, I'm going to end up drunk calling you. Yeah,
Yeah. So they're talking a lot about drinking
and
and
dialing.
lusting, and drinking and dialing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So again,
So
on
that's
on
kind of on
brand for
brand.
them.
This one just has a truck in it.
Yeah, this one doesn't. Like, I mean, this is like their stuff doesn't have like the pickup trucks and back roads kind of stuff generally.
Oh,
It's
right, right, right.
more like it doesn't have that. Like it wouldn't make as much sense. Um, I don't see them singing about the single season touchdown throws or cold beer's got 12 ounces and a good truck's got maybe 300,000. It's like, I don't feel them doing that, right? So it's not really what they do so much. So what I think is cool about it is like, oh, you look at the differences for an artist like Dan and Shay going, okay, they're not having the trucks in here or really even beer. Of course, their big song is Tequila. So they'll sing about having tequila, obviously, and and they will drink in their songs. And this one starts with like a drunk dial that somebody picked up, but it's a little bit sweeter. So I think that's one thing that's really important to notice on Dan and Shay being kind of an outlier is that it's a different kind of subject matter. It's a different kind of voice. It comes from a different place. It's not as kind of rednecky or dirt road, back road, kind of red dirt as some of these other artists are. So that's one thing that's important to notice. And see, the other one here is, let's see, Luke Combs, Forever After All. So some of the imagery in there, uh, Luke Combs is talking about mag lights and trucks and blue jeans and a down home girl. And so with the Luke Combs things, Forever After All, you know, it's much more kind of that blue collar, kind of rednecky imagery that in that song. And
Yeah.
that's totally appropriate for Luke Combs. He's like the everyman, the blue collar guy, the guy next door kind of guy. And so that imagery all throughout that song fits his brand. It's not Chardonnay and martinis and whatever. It's not that.
Right.
For Luke Combs,
And
it's mag lights. I mean, mag light, come on. And
yeah,
cold beer and blue jeans,
yeah.
that
A
kind of stuff.
long neck, cold beer never broke my
Right. It
heart.
it fits Luke's brand. And that first line speaks to both his brand and to the theme about, some things, most things are just here and gone. Most things don't last forever. Maybe some things do, talking about the love of his girl. And so cold beer's got 12 ounces. A good truck's got maybe 300,000. So you got the cold beer and a truck, which is on brand for him, his world vocabulary, what he talks about, but then also sets up the theme of like, it's got 12 ounces. It's limited. Good truck's got maybe 300,000 miles on it. It might last that long. So it's setting a thing of like these things that don't last forever. Because there's the chorus, the flip is maybe some things last forever after all, talking about love. So man, they're getting right in on the theme and on brand from the very first line. So I thought that was important to point out.
Yeah, and just real quick side note that, the what they're saying is on brand, but what the brand is how you feel about Luke Combs. That's what the brand is, right? It's how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
And so, Luke Combs, if you're a blue collar country music lover and you fix your own trucks and you drink, long neck 12-ounce beers every
Mhm.
Friday, Saturday, then by golly, you're gonna like Luke Combs.
He's one of
You're
my
gonna relate
people.
to him. You know what I mean?
He's
Because
one of my people.
you're gonna feel like that. And then the Dan and Shay thing is very young. The brand is young, isn't it? It's like
Mhm.
this is not married relationship kind of stuff.
Right.
This is a lot of I'm out, I'm single, I'm in love, I'm yearning for this or
Mhm.
yearning for that, and I should probably go to bed because I'm,
Yeah,
like
and it's not the blue jeans, cold beer,
yeah, it's
Maglite
not the it's
crap,
not the blue collar thing.
no,
It's more of like a love vertical,
yeah, love
right?
vertical, and also just like, yeah, they'll drink tequila and then talk about like a sorority T-shirt, so it's more like college, but a little more, you know, um,
It's a
preppy,
young brand. Yeah.
kinda like preppy, millennial kind of thing. I don't know if
See
I'd
see what
say
we're doing here? We're
hipster, but
talking
it's
about how it makes us feel,
yeah,
right? Like that's what the brand is, like how it makes you feel, you know?
and they get there by kind of
So
melodies and what they talk about, what they don't talk about.
Mhm.
Like I said, you're not seeing like cornfields. I mean, they may have a song that mentions a cornfield, but that's not what I think of when I think of them. I think
That's
of,
right. Yeah.
a little, just yeah, a little
Isn't that
more
what you feel?
refined or that young and slicker kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and certainly guess what? It's the sound slicker too, isn't
Oh,
it?
for
Like,
sure.
it's much more of a pop finish
Hmm.
to what they got going on, and Luke Combs is, he's just like the guy that came out of nowhere
Hmm.
anyway, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, and it's very it's they're all well done, but they're decidedly and intentionally different finishes to even sonically to what they're doing
for
with
sure.
it.
Yeah, and I mean, Dan and Shay's vocals versus Luke Combs, both great
Yeah.
vocals,
Yeah.
very different,
Yeah.
very different.
Yep.
But both great. And same all the way up and down the line. But, those are, just kind of more the
I almost
outliers,
saw Dan and Shay the other night. Like, Janelle got tickets.
Oh, yeah?
They played at Centennial Park, but there was, like, a nasty storm
Oh.
that came through, and I think they still played, God
Mhm.
bless them, but, you weren't allowed to take chairs, and so I'm not gonna go stand in the mud to
Yeah.
sorry, see
Yeah.
Dan and Shay. Love you guys, but no.
Right, yeah.
I'll
Unfortunately.
wait.
Yeah. That's funny.
But anyway, I just thought I
Yep.
just calling Italians about it.
Well, thank you. That story kinda went nowhere. Alright, so okay, so we've looked at times, they're getting shorter. First lines are on point, on brand, with imagery from the get-go, right? And then I
Mhm.
looked at, oh, you know what? There are no slow ballads in the top 5. Shocker.
Hmm,
Shocker. Um,
interesting.
yeah. So,
God, if we only had information on that, like, I wish like, that's why haven't we known about that before?
yeah, only we
Let
only
me
talk about it all
think.
the time.
Hold on.
So I found a website called songbpm.com. So I
Okay.
usually go to TuneBat, but then I was just looking up some stuff. I'm like, oh, songbpm.com. It gives you the BPMs, and it also gives you like a little note like, oh, song has high energy and is very danceable. Like you give you notes like
Uh,
that on the song. And so it was funny. So like single Saturday night, 82 BPMs. And that was like the slowest one. But it grooves on the chorus. It's a 4/4 time. Um,
yeah,
it's not a dragger, right?
right.
And it's a positive song too. That's something to look at too. But drinking beer, talking God, amen, 100 BPMs, so singable on that chorus. Sitting here
Uh-huh.
drinking beer, talking God, amen. I mean, just got that
Dude,
head bob, so sing
yeah.
alongable for sure. It's also a 4/4 time. Famous Friends, 102 BPM, high energy, and the song BPM.com says high energy and somewhat danceable, 4/4 time. So all these are 4/4. yeah, high energy or danceable. It's just funny how it talked about that. Like, Glad You Exist, the Dan Shay thing, 104 BPM. And it said average.
We're climbing up
It's
with every
funny, yeah,
one.
as
Like,
we go, yeah. 104 BPM, it said average energy and very danceable, 4/4 time. So I was like, okay, cool. These all groove, they're sing alongable, they're danceable, or they're high energy. Forever After All says BPM 152. And which it doesn't feel like the highest energy feeling one is Famous Friends for sure. But it said
right,
152 on Forever After All, 4/4 time. And it's funny on
they're
song.
long bars. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just the thing, is how you play it, right? But it still has energy to it. And songbpm.com said for most of them, it's like song has, average energy or high energy, very danceable, quite danceable, and so, which
Mhm.
I guess is just more for like DJs and stuff, maybe like you're looking for stuff people can dance to. But I thought that was interesting. So there's not like Glad You Exist. It moves and it grooves, and that's kind of probably the one that feels the most chill. Um, but they all have their thing. There's no like slow ballads in there. Also, like, what's the purpose of these? Like, are these songs? They're all positive. Single Saturday
Mhm.
Night, I'm in Love. Meeting her was my last single Saturday night. Drinking beer, talking God, amen. I mean, it feels good, and it's about being with your boys, and you're doing that stuff. You're just congregating, and you're
Mhm.
fellowshipping, right? And you're just hanging out with your guys, having one of those campfire Friday nights. And so that's a good feel. Famous Friends, high energy and positive. It's like shout outs to the hometowns and the everyday people, right? And so that's very positive. Glad You Exist. Yeah, super positive. I'm glad you exist. Right. And so
Mhm.
it's a positive thing. And Forever After All, like some things last forever after all. When I see you in the kitchen, blah, blah, blah. you know, okay, positive love song. So we got positive love song, positive friend song, positive friend or love song. Glad You Exist could kind of work for either. And then Forever After All, positive love song. Hmm.
Your slow, dark,
You
sad
Hurt Me
ballad
ballad
has a chance.
is it's cutting against the grain. Let's make it that way. It's cutting against the grain.
Yeah.
You will have to overcome the odds, and it can be done. But it's
It can be done,
woo.
but you are
You're not
your
playing the good
slow,
numbers.
dark, sad country song is a blue solo cup, and very clearly what the market wants are right now are red solo cups.
Yeah, I mean, because
So what do you
even
wanna sell? You wanna sell solo cups, or do you wanna spout from the treetops how the industry hates you because they're stupid and they don't understand the value of blue solo cups?
right, don't blame the market. Because even looking
Yeah.
further down, okay, we're looking at the top 5, but say let's top 10. Luke Bryan, Waves, positive song. Justin Moore, we didn't have much, but we had it all. So positive song, life song.
Mhm.
Thomas Rhett, man, it feels good to be country again. Positive.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's the rest of the top 10. Now the first kind of not as positive song is Lainey Wilson with Things a Man Ought to Know, which is, it's a post breakup song. I know a few things a man ought to know, like how to stay when it's tough and all this stuff. Yeah. If you got a good
Mhm.
thing, you don't let it go. Yeah. I know a few things a man ought to know. So it's
Mm.
still, it's got some melancholy, some heartbreak in it. Um,
What's the BPM on that? And
I don't know. I have to look it up, but it moves. It's not like ballad. It got
like
it has
mid
some
tempo?
movement to it. Yeah. It'd be more of a mid. You got like Keith Urban with Pink, One Too Many, which feels so good. So man, so many positives. Just look down there here. Let's see. Looking for like a big, like see if there's like a big negative. And may not know all these songs well enough to be honest with you. Whiskey and Rain, maybe, but it's not a like a pure ballad. Just About Over You is, like I was just about over you, but here you come again. But it moves. It's like a mid. Um, so I mean, yeah, they're just like that sad I'm a victim ballad. It's not in the top 10, not really in the top 15. Because even like I know a few things a man ought to know. It's just a really cool song. It's a different angle on it. And she's not really seeing herself as a victim. She's like, I'm competent and I know stuff. He didn't.
Yeah.
Like he's the screw up. I'm not like, woe is me and I'm not worthy. It's like I can change a flat. I can do this stuff. Yeah, I know a few things a man ought to know. And so she's coming from a place of empowerment and not like, woe is me. Like, yeah, he didn't know how to stick it out and do the hard work in a relationship. You got a good thing, you don't let it go. I know a few things a man ought to know. Like, he didn't know that. So even that, it's like, it's not too down on herself. She's like, yeah, his loss kind of like, you loser in a way, you know, like it hurt, it sucked, but oh well, he should have known. You know, so even that's not too like, woe is me. So that's a big thing to look at with these songs as
It's
well.
empowering. It's like
It is. It's like
empowering instead of yeah, it's not victimization.
it's
It's like,
not
okay,
victimizing
there's
herself.
this bad thing happened, but I'm gonna be okay because I know a few things a man ought to know.
Yeah, like I knew better than he did. He's the one that
Yeah,
left, and it's like it's through because of his shortcomings, not because of mine. And I'm not
yeah.
just sitting here like whining about it. Really, she's not. So,
Mhm.
um, and again, that's the outlier, and that's as bad as it gets, right? Okay,
Mm.
well, that's as woe is me as it's getting, and ain't very woe is me. And
And you
so
don't have to like it, but we're just like, this is the market right now.
it is what it
That's all.
is.
The market was different 20 years ago, and then it was different again 10 years ago, and now it's different this time,
Yeah,
and who knows where it's gonna go to next, but it's you gotta if you're gonna get your songs cut, which means you gotta sell the lyric, the melody, and the vibe of your song, and what they want is red Solo cups, then by golly, you better have some red Solo cups for sale,
yeah,
or you're gonna be disappointed.
and
You don't get to move into a vegan community and spend $1 million setting up the world's best steak joint and then get pissed off at the world because nobody wants to buy your steaks,
right.
right? Like it's like, oh well, it's a closed club and you've got to counsel people and everybody's like all the excuses why it's not your
Right.
fault. No, dummy, you set up a steak factory in a steak shop in the middle of a vegan community.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Or even if you go to the middle of a carnivorous community and you set up a steak shop, well, your steaks better be better than the next guy's. Or you
Yeah,
better advertise better, at least to get them in to taste it. Or even if it's better,
yeah.
but they don't know you, they're going to go to, Jimmy Smokehouse down the road because they know the ribs are really good. And why are they going to try out this new place when they have some other good places to go that they know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I walk in, it's going to be a good experience. Boy, you got to
Yeah.
kind of pull them away from that a little bit. Got to get them into your restaurant to at least try it, and then it's got to be better or different and still great. It's so. Let's just kind of go through this real quick, kind of the overview again as we kind of closing her down. So the top 5 American country countdown chart for the week of August 7th and 8th, 2021. So Cole
Keep your feet
Swindell
on the
single
ground and
Saturday
keep
night.
reaching for the stars.
That's right.
Sorry, I had to do that.
Chase Rice featuring Florida Georgia Line, Drinking Beer, Talking God Amen, Chris Young, Kane Brown, Famous Friends, Dan and Shay, Glad You Exist, Luke Combs, Forever After All. And looking at like 2 of these songs have features on them, Florida Georgia Line, Kane Brown. So it may not be a bad idea because those are more like life songs and they can be duets, obviously.
Mhm,
And so, but they're not written where they have to be duets. And so
mhm,
maybe that's a thing to think about too, going as I'm writing these things, where are some ways that I can, have extra value for the artist? Like, oh, hey, this could be a duet, like between dudes, but it's not like a
mhm,
love duet. It's, yeah, well, I got famous friends. Yeah. And I got famous friends. And let me tell you about my friends. And, so it sits comfortably in there, but it could have been just Chris Young doing that all by himself. And the song would still be without really changing much of anything, it would still work. But you
mhm,
get to like, oh, but here's an opportunity to level up because you could totally have somebody else take that second verse and, bring in a feature. Same thing with Drinking Beer, Talking God Amen. It's like, doesn't have to be a feature thing on there, but you can, and it could be your buddy, and there you go. And that doesn't hurt. So, I mean, that's something to think about as well. Like, how
mhm.
can I write this in a way that, especially those are life songs, not like relationship songs? Boy, is there a way I can do that where, and maybe put that out there like, hey, somebody could totally feature on this. Like, you could do a duet on this. Easy. Okay. Well, we like to do those every once in a while. Do something a little different, So that's
Mhm.
something to think about as well. But anyway, first lines again, they have imagery. They're on point. with the theme and the brand of the artist, the times are getting shorter. The longest one's 3:52, but that is longest by 45 seconds longer than the next
Yeah.
longest one. And so, I mean, it is like, I mean, it's like a minute 26 longer or so, something like that, than the shortest song on there. It's
Uh-huh.
like almost feels almost double. So really, songs are trending shorter. No slow ballads. A lot of
Minute 26.
4/4,
Wow.
singable, danceable, good energy, all positive. Huh? Okay. Now go do that and do something different with it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, go do that and put your own flavor in it, where it's not going to be just a copycat or just seem like everything else. That's your assignment. You know.
There you go. I
Yep.
love it. I love it. Nice. All right, guys. Well, that brings us to the end of another Killer Climb episode. And speaking of brevity, we're doing good. This one we came in good.
That's
40
good.
minutes.
Let's
Like,
do it.
I'm proud of us. I envy us.
There we
And by
go.
us, I mean you. So the less Johnny talks, the shorter the episodes
what we
are.
learned.
That's just a fact of nature
It
right
is.
there. So, hey guys, make sure that you join the Climb community, that you leave a rating and review, and that you tell a friend about this if it's working for you. This podcast exists because we want you to win. So keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.